I forgot how I even do the intro. All right.
You thinking of what to say?
I'm really trying to figure out what I
Sober
used to
takes
say.
by not so sober people.
Yes, but how did I start out?
I don't know, man. That's not my job. That's not my job description. My job is to bring the hot takes.
Uh,
My job is to prep and research and bring hot takes. That's what I do.
all right. You ready?
I'm ready.
Welcome back to Sober Sports Podcast. Not so sober. Nope, that ain't it.
If you don't get this in the cold open, I lose respect for you, sir.
Welcome back to Sober Sports Podcast. Sober Sports Take by not so sober people. I'm Trent. That's Tre. Tre, how's everything going for you?
Man, we doing this pod, so I can't complain. Even if things were bad, and you know what I mean, if it was a global pandemic going on and folks didn't have jobs and everybody's getting sick, even if all that stuff were going on, the fact that we get to, if that was a scenario, right? Even if it was, you know, I mean, the fact that we get to talk about sports and sports are coming back is a blessing in and of itself. And I'm glad to be back and get this going and giving the people what they want. That's it. That's all we're doing, right?
Hot takes, everything sports. Since the last time we've spoken, sports has come back with a fury. When we first started, we were just talking UFC because that was the only thing on. Now we've got PGA, MLS, NBA, and MLB. All the other soccer leagues. Like we've got everything coming back. We've got boxing. We've got a bunch of other things. But before we get into all of that, of course, my favorite portion of the show, Tre, what you sipping on?
Man, I'm going fancy. I'm trying to be like Brian. You know, Brian, he drinks the wine and whatnot. And Wade has D. Wade Cellars.
Yeah.
I think of myself as having culture and want to aspire to things like those gentlemen. So I'm drinking wine. I'm going with white wine tonight. I don't know what kind it is. I think it's just Trader Joe's Petite Reserve Sauvignon Blanc. Probably didn't cost more than $5, and it has a twist top on it, which is my favorite. But that's what I'm rolling with tonight.
Sounds like a plan. Unfortunately, I am going with high quality H2O. I just recently began. I know that really defeats the entire purpose of the title, but I just recently began working out again. My wife wanted me to get abs, so I am slowly but surely working on abs. So my workout is in the morning, so I'm choosing not to drink. But I promise you, next time we're on here, I will be. I saw the finger. What's up?
Oh no! I want to talk about your workout routine. I think that's great because I've gotten back into working out as well, and this is sports show, right? I think we can talk about. I think we can derail for a second.
I think that's fitting.
I think this is on topic. So what? I know you've been golfing, right? And so what are you doing? Outside of golfing to get back into it.
So yeah, I've been doing golf. I've been golfing, going to the range. When I go out in the course, I try to walk it to get that extra sweat in instead of sitting my ass in the cart. But outside of that, about 5 weeks ago, I started the Insanity Program by Sean T. I'm getting older. I'm 29 now, so I'm not able to do the full week's worth right about now. I'm taking a couple of extra rest days, but it's more than I've been doing for, let's say, the past 8 years. So it's definitely kicking my butt, and but getting results slowly but surely. But I heard you've gotten back into the MMA world. So my first question is: any question mark kicks?
No. No question mark kicks, no exclamation mark kicks, no period kicks. Actually, matter of fact, I was at training tonight, and so I've just been doing stand-up. I've just been doing boxing. I ain't gonna say stand-up. I've just been doing boxing because I'm not even 29. I am older. I'm 40. And so I know myself and how I am. I have to ease into it. So I've just been doing boxing and lifting and actually running a lot. And I hate running, but it's actually been very clean for me. And I see how much improved my cardio is inside in boxing. So it's helped out a lot. So it's been great, man. It's been great. It's tough. It's challenging. But I've learned a lot. Great trainers. I train at Game Bread Training Center down in Otay, Herman Torado. He's in PFL, Strike Force, Bellator, all that kind of stuff. Great guy. He runs it. And it's been great. I've learned a lot, testing myself, and I'm seeing the results just like you, right? And so I think it's important, especially given everything that we're going through, to find things and reconnect with things. You're an athlete. I'm an athlete. We both love sports. We're both trying sports that we've liked and loved, from afar, and now getting into it. It doesn't matter how old you are or what you're doing. You can always try something new and learn some skills. So I'm enjoying it.
Most definitely. Now, MMA is definitely one of the things that I've always wanted to give a shot. So one of these days, I'm gonna have to join you out there and see.
Come get these hands, man.
Life's like.
these hands are for everybody. I just want to let you know, man. Anybody can get it.
So speaking of us being athletes and our time off, I was blessed with an archive of Monte Vista Monarch football highlights by year.
Are you serious?
By year. And me and my older brother Gary, who was also a Monarch football alumni, obviously, as you know, but the viewers may not. Sat at my parents' house and went through the entire highlight tape of his year and my year. And the most shocking thing is I actually have a highlight on the tape. We will definitely have to cut that in to one of the videos in the next upcoming pods. And I'm gonna scrub through your guys' year as well to get some live footage of you so that people can see that we're not only people that talk about sports. We live the life for quite some time.
We got that life. No, I want to make sure, because I know we got some foot healers listening. I know there's some Scotty dogs listening. There's some Matadors listening. There's some Norsemen listening. Like I said, any of y'all can get it. So, I mean, this is our show. You know what it is. All right. And yeah, hey, the tape speaks for itself. Funny, I was at the gym the other day, right? Young man, 11 years old, boxer, good kid. He's from Paradise Hills. And he's into football, and we were talking about football players, and he didn't know who Reggie Bush was.
Jeez.
He didn't know who Reggie Bush was. So wow. as being a stand-up citizen of Southeast San Diego, I showed him. I was like, "Now get your phone out, little man." I showed him. We did with the highlight tapes. So we said pros, college, high school, right? Mm-hmm. And so we get to high school ones, and I'm on the highlight tape quite a bit, apparently.
On his highlight tape?
Oh yeah, I'm on the highlight tape. I'm on the highlight. It's like, when people on a poster, I'm on the highlight tape, but not in a good way. And so I got to see. I'm like, so here's the messed up part. Like, I'm trying to, this is Reggie, blah 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 blah. And so we get the high school highlights right now. I'm showing. He's like, yo, who's that guy that just fell? I was like,
it's like, I don't know. I didn't know.
I was like, that's actually me. That's me again. So I mean, it's what it is. It is what it is. So I mean,
That is hilarious. So our first topic today, it makes me wish that we had continued our sports journeys back in those days. But the amount of money that is being thrown around in the professional leagues, you've got Patrick Mahomes, who, I mean, they just backed up the entire bank truck to his front lawn for essentially the rest of his life. And then you've now got announced yesterday or today, Mookie Betts for the Dodgers getting an extension of, I want to say 12 years for like $350 million. Tre, what could you do with $350 million?
I would have a very bad drug problem. I'm not even gonna lie. That's why the Lord hasn't blessed me with $350 million. I don't need that much money, man. That doesn't make any sense. Like, it really doesn't. Like, let's be honest. Like, I don't need that much money. I'm irresponsible with the $3.50 that I have in my account. I don't need $350 million. But see, that's why I'm not Patrick Mahomes or Mookie Betts, and I'm not going to hate on these brothers for getting their money. You know what I mean? Patrick Mahomes has proven that if anybody is worth, it says 503. So I just checked in Mahomes contract because I wanted to get the exact.
Yeah, it's something
10-year deal worth up to $503 million.
It's stupid.
And again, I'm here for it. I'm here for it because when we think about, what the players are doing, putting their bodies on the line, what he means to that franchise, whatever that $503 million, whatever the figure is, the Chiefs owners apparently can pay it. So I'm not going to complain about the man getting his money when I'm not writing the checks. This ain't my money. And especially in the Mookie Betts case, like, you know what I mean? He's been an all-star. What was Mookie Betts, like 24, 25 years old? He's a kid. He's young, right? Young. And Boston, let's Hey, we gonna say it. Actually, I'm gonna say it. If he was white,
yeah.
Boston would have backed the truck up.
Yeah.
They would have traded him. We wouldn't have heard nothing about this, right? But he's not. And he came to LA and ain't played a game yet. And they paid this kid. How much they give him? $350?
$350, I believe it was.
Man, and if there's anybody, I mean, again, think of who's, no one's, let's agree, no one's worth that much money. Okay, that's fine.
Let's just get that over with.
But I mean, the numbers make sense for him, right? Because even if he doesn't perform at the level that he was, you're still going to get great value of him. And in a year 5 or 6, this is actually going to be a great deal. Like that's the thing about it. Like it's actually going to be a great deal for both the Chiefs and the Dodgers. So I think making this investment in the players early when you establish, like, yo, we know what their floor is. We know what their floor is. So pay them the money. Yes, it's not going to even out. We know this. We've seen all these big money contracts. None of them are worth it. Right. But since you got the money to spend, these are the guys to spend it on. And I'm glad they got their money.
Yeah, no, definitely. And it always makes me think. It's just like if they were willing to drop that kind of cash right now, like for instance, Patrick Mahomes, I mean, he's electric, don't get me wrong. But I mean, it's been maybe 1-2 seasons. I'm not sure how long. I think he's been in the league 2-3 years. 3 years. So two like over the top electric seasons. I mean, it makes me think like if they were willing to give him $500 million, like it makes me feel as though like he is worth way more than that. And like it's just like if they were willing to actually pay it, that means in reality he's gonna bring them in billions and
way more money.
And it only takes 1-2 more championships. Like if you can get a good run out of him. Let's say if you can,
they need one more.
If you can get a good run out of him, then you get your money's worth on the back end.
They get one championship. I think that's an excellent point. It's an excellent point. They get one championship. The Dodgers get one championship. It's worth it. Yeah, it's worth it. They get one. And I think actually I'm gonna bring in because we didn't have this on the docket, but just to juxtapose, right? That's a great word. Look it up if you don't know what it means. The contracts that one MVP Super Bowl winner got, and then another MVP winner, a Super Bowl quarterback, actually signed a contract. I'm not sure if you've heard of him. He also won a Heisman Trophy. He signed in New England. Mr. Cameron Newton. Now, I'm on record, okay? I don't like Cam Newton. I've never liked Cam. No, I got to be honest. I've never personally liked Cam Newton. He kind of has that A-Rod kind of sliminess. He just doesn't feel authentic, right? You know what I mean? He wears those hats looking like, it's just, I mean, the scarves are cool. Don't get me wrong. The scarves and the handbags I'm with. It's the hats. It's just like, yo, man, you're in Carolina. It's hot. It's
the
sweaty.
Hats are the problem.
The hats are the problem, in my opinion. But this is, so one, I said that the Patriots were going to sign him a long time ago. I said it's the only thing, it makes sense. They're the ones that are going to make the right decisions. But I didn't realize they was going to sign him for minimum wage.
Yeah. It's
like,
So from a team standpoint, I mean, honestly, it's the injuries, right? I mean, he's been hurt
it's the injuries. Okay.
2-3 years. I mean, it's.
What's the kid who kept on getting he was a Heisman winner at Oklahoma, Sam Bradford, right? How many times Bradford break his knees and got more money? Come on now, we ain't gonna do this. We are not gonna do this in sober sports because Black lives do matter.
Yes,
Cam Newton
but we would
ain't getting the money.
But we also all agreed that Sam Bradford should not have gotten those contracts.
Hold on. We know that. My point is with black quarterbacks, with black high price. Again, look at Mookie Betts. It's not. I'm not. This ain't just come. I'm not making this stuff up. We know that Cam Newton was a different hue, right? There wouldn't be these questions. Cam Newton meant so much to that franchise.
Yeah.
Right? He meant so much to that franchise. He's carried them for years. He ain't have no wide receivers. He ain't have no linemen. He ain't had no running back for years. Right. And who did they decide to play? What's his name? What's his little boy from Stanford, the running back?
McCaffrey. He is a beast, though.
McCaffrey. No, don't get me wrong. McCaffrey is good, but what is a running back going to do for you? Not much. What's the running? If a running back is out of the game, what's the point line going to change? A half a point. If Cameron Newton is out the game, what's the point line going to change? 2 or 3. We know what position is most important. Yeah. Now, I'm not taking nothing from McCaffrey. The Panthers should have paid him. I take nothing from him. My point is that we don't get the opportunities that other people get. Cameron Newton is still a top 10 quarterback in this league. I don't care what you said. The Chargers should have taken him. They took that kid from Oregon, which made no sense whatsoever. Yeah. Kid Herbert, whatever you call him, he's not good. I've seen that kid play twice live. He's a whole bunch of potential and hasn't produced. Like, come on now, this guy, when healthy, has been the best quarterback in the league. And the reason he wasn't healthy is because he ain't have no O-line. And he kept on trying to go out there. When he finally said, I'm not going to do it anymore, they cut him. When he finally decided to look out for himself, they cut him. I hope Cam Newton has an MVP year. I hope New England Patriots win the Super Bowl and Cam get $200 million. Because I don't like the man. I don't like him at all. But I'll never take a man's skill set from him. The dude can play. He can throw the ball. And it's a great decision.
No, yeah, I'm definitely interested in just seeing how the Patriots system adapts to Cam, because I just don't know. I mean, I think Cam can do the things that Brady can do athletically. Obviously, he can throw the ball. It's just like as it got to the later years of the Patriots, it was a lot of the dink and dunk, and kind of just like it was more methodical. It wasn't just like, okay, I'm gonna just go out here and be a better athlete than you. And for me, it seems as though that could be scary, like potentially great, if Belichick has somebody who can do other things besides drop back. So I'm really interested in seeing, what they put together there and how they form that partnership.
Belichick probably looking like the hamburger right now. This boy is probably so excited every day. He probably texting, probably in all Cam Newton's group chats, his Snapchat, Instagram, DMing him. Like, imagine. Again, taking nothing from Tom Brady. Tom Brady's, GOAT status, right? So we're not saying that, but he's limited physically. And we all know that. Now you take a person who has all the physical gifts, all the things. I mean, he has it all. He can do whatever you want on a football field. And we saw, the ingenuity of Belichick when he had, Aaron Hernandez, when he had Gronkowski, right? Yeah. What they do, they started going 2, 3 tight ends. And what the league do, they had no clue what to do, right? and then they would spread it out. We've seen what he did with Randy Moss. Randy Moss came off a season in Oakland where we forget Randy Moss quit on his team. Yeah, Randy Moss quit on his team. Let's not forget that he literally said, "No, I'm not doing this no more. Y'all suck." And what happened when we got to New England? They had the greatest season ever. Yeah, the greatest season ever. Like, exactly. And so we know what Belichick is sitting here doing. Ooh, him and Patrick Chung was still somehow on the team. Pat Chung about to get him another Super Bowl ring. This boy, I don't know what Patrick. I need to hit up Patrick Chung, because Patrick Chung, he got like arrested or something. That didn't matter. Like, he's still on the team. I don't remember it. Yeah, I don't remember it don't matter. It's Teflon Don, man. He's slow. He can't cover. He's not that intelligent when it comes to playing, but he gets Super Bowl rings. So whatever he's doing something right.
Yeah, no, definitely. No, so on the NFL topic, the big news since the last time we spoke was the formerly the Washington Redskins have now changed their name, obviously because of the financial pressure that was put on them from sponsors and things along those lines. Let's not play dumb and act as though they just woke up one day on the right side of the bed. So it's but it was definitely from some financial pressure. But I just wanted to get your thoughts on the name change and the fact that announced today, until further notice, they're going to be the Washington football team until they settle on a name or settle some stuff in court about the name. But yeah, I just wanted to get your thoughts on the Washington football team.
Well, first off, I think it's a better name. I'm a soccer fan, so you don't need to have like a mascot. Yeah. Let's be honest. Club. Mascots are silly. Cheerleaders are silly. Ring girls in the UFC are silly. Like, all of it is silly. So let's not pretend like any of this makes sense. Like, I identify with the Redskins and blah blah blah. That's my angry white person talk. Oh, right there. Yeah, that's what that is. We got to get nasally. But let's not pretend like any of that stuff really matters, right? Yeah. I'm surprised that it happened so quick. That's what it got me. Like, it was like, the companies are putting pressure on them, and then obviously they had the sexual misconduct misconduct allegations come out.
Yeah.
And then, because they've been fighting this for years. They've been fighting this for years, and they've been like, no, we're not changing. Blah, 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 blah.
But the major difference is that it was going to affect their pockets now. I believe their big sponsor was FedEx, and they were just like no.
It's
like,
FedEx Field. No, it's FedEx Field.
Shit, yeah. So their biggest sponsor is FedEx. And FedEx was finally just like, we're going to pull our stuff if you guys don't, adjust something. And that's something that we talk about a lot when it comes to social injustice and things along those lines, and trying to figure out what we can do. And like people are always saying, hit them in the pockets. Like that's the only thing that's going to make these people change their mind. Like they don't care about morals or being on the right side of history. They care about whether or not their bottom line is going to go up or down. And when FedEx was like, hey, we're pulling out, they were like, okay, maybe Redskins is a little offensive, we'll change it, so it's just like it's mind-blowing that it takes money to get anything done. But again, glad that it's happening. I was watching, I believe it was First Take, and I believe it was Max Kellerman started talking a little bit about what Redskin, meant. And it was something that I didn't know. And he had mentioned that it wasn't necessarily a derogatory term just for Indians, but it was actually like a time in history in which they would scalp the Indians and they would sell the hair like with their scalp on it and it was called Redskins. Like that was something that I had never known, and was just like, how in the hell could anybody think that was an appropriate name for a sports team?
Yeah, because it's all performative to them, right? We know if Black lives don't matter, we know Indigenous lives don't matter.
Yeah,
we know that absolutely. I mean, and let's not. Yes, I'm happy that the Washington football team finally, because of pressure, like you so aptly pointed out, changed their name. But let's not confuse this with actual change, right? This is the bare minimum.
True.
The bare minimum is for you to stop making fun of them.
Right.
The bare minimum is for you to stop parading around doing the tomahawk chop. Like
that took so long.
Mr. Snyder, this is the bare minimum for you. Okay.
Yeah.
What's up with the Dakota Access Pipeline? Right. Let's say even with the NFL doing, playing the Black National Anthem. Here's the thing about the Black National Anthem. Okay. Nobody knows more than the first verse of the Black National Anthem, other than members of Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated, and most of us don't know it. Okay. So
you learned it, but don't know it anymore.
I don't need, these are all performative, right? These are all performative. Yeah. This is the basic needs. And so I don't, again, not that I'm not glad that we're seeing this. I'm glad that we're seeing people donate money, all that kind of stuff. But this is entry level stuff. Yeah. We need to understand that this is entry level stuff. Right. You changing the name to Washington football team, doesn't make it easier for Indigenous people. We know what's happening on reservations. Hell, if COVID is destroying this country, is destroying marginalized communities, it's destroying Indigenous communities, right? Yeah. And with all the things, I just want folks to make sure that you keep this energy going. I'm seeing, with the MLS and soccer players, these guys are really about that life with Black Lives Matter stuff, and I'm glad to see it. The NBA, CP3. Melo and them are having a fun. Hey, that's great, but this is not short term. This is not a short term thing. And let's see names change. Let's see anthems played, because this stuff should be just a part of it. Yeah, right.
This should be the bare minimum.
This is normal. So let's normalize, being Black, being Indigenous, being LGBTQ, being Latinx, being Asian, because we're a melting pot, right? As a society, we're a melting pot. That's supposed to be. So it shouldn't be crazy to see this stuff. And so I'm glad to see it, but let's not confuse this for actual change. Let's not confuse this, because you taking that name off it doesn't change what's happening on reservations, doesn't change what's happening for people. You saying Black Lives Matter is not going to stop me from getting killed on the street. And we need to make sure we're pushing for the right things. Yeah, I'll take your money, but I don't really need your money. I just want access to opportunity and resources, and I don't want to die before I need to. That's the biggest thing for me. And so I encourage y'all, keep the same energy and keep pushing. The fight is not over, and that's what they're hoping for. They're hoping that we just kind of, okay, we changed the name, we good. No, Mr. Snyder, I want you gone. I want you gone.
What was the guy at the Clippers? What was his name? Sterling?
Whatever, he's gone. Yeah, so I think Donald Sterling. Yeah, get him out of here. Get him out of here, and that's what we need to do. There needs to be, in a league that has, I want to say it's 60% Black players. It's ridiculous. There's not one Black owner in the NFL. Yeah. We got how many GMs? 4. We got how many head coaches, including Rivera? A couple. And don't get me wrong, you got Rivera, right? Rivera, Latinx coach, right? In Washington now to deal with it. Think about this. He was in Carolina with Tepper's nonsense. And now he's working for Dan Snyder. Imagine that. He's the only Latino coach in the league, and this is the ownership that he has to work for. Yeah. Can we expect this man to? The fact that he's been able to do what he's done is great. But kind of distraction. But look who's being forced to deal with this stuff. They ain't got a white dude in that. They got Rivera in there. Again, not that he can't deal with it. I think he's going to be great. I think he's great for Haskins. I actually like the direction where this team is going. But let's just be real about it. Like, he shouldn't have this job. He should have a better job than this. Yeah. And we want to make sure that's the thing. I just saw a thing that the NBA was got high marks for their minority hire and whatnot. I saw how many black owners we got? Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yes, they should be hiring because you got 90% of the league is black. So it makes sense that you have but how many head coaches we got? How many GMs we got? Let's be real. It's about power. This is what it's about. It's not about representation. It's not about a seat at the table. Yeah. Right? Jay-Z got a seat at the table and can't get Kaepernick a job. Okay, so thank you for your seat, but you ain't helping nobody out. Okay, so let's make sure, again, you keep this same energy and keep on pushing because this fight is a whole lot longer than getting some name changes and some statues taken down.
No, I definitely agree. And again, I've been waiting to have this conversation with you because I think that you bring an insight to it that's more than just surface level that, you see on the news and you see on Twitter and you see on ESPN where, everybody's all happy about, like you said, national anthems, taking down statues and changing names. But in reality, like, we didn't ask for none of that. Like, that's not what we wanted. We wanted to live. We want to be alive. We want to be able to, feel as though we're, accepted here, and not accepted in the way of like social acceptance, but just accepted in the sense that you don't bother us while we're here. Like we don't need to be a part of your crew, but just don't mess with us. Like, we're here too. And just, that's what we're fighting for, like people not dying in the streets. But while we're on the topic, this was something that me and my wife have had some conversations about. And it's just, and this is more towards the short term, but do you think that because the NBA is coming back next week. You've had Kyrie Irving speak out about the fact that he thought that this would be a distraction from some of the stuff that's going on right now. You've had others speak out, and say, hey, this is my livelihood. I got to eat. So there's definitely multiple sides to this. I'm just curious your thoughts and whether or not you think that the return of the NBA or the return of sports in general will become a distraction for some of the bigger things that we're trying to accomplish.
Man, I was going to compliment you on your question asking because let me tell you, no, this man is good because in pre-show, I told him how much I did not care about the NBA being back. Like, I literally went on a 5-minute rant about how much I didn't care and how ridiculous it was. I told you
that's my job.
And this dude just asked a brilliant question to get me to talk about it. That is great. So first of all, with Kyrie Irving, the more that this young man talks, and that's how I know I'm getting old because I'm saying like folks like Kyrie is a young man to me. But the more he talks, the more that I like this dude because he does not. He's focused on the right things. You can tell that he's focused on the right things. He's blocking out the noise. He doesn't really care about perceptions and all that kind of stuff, which allows him to do the things that he thinks are good. Mm-hmm. And the things that he's saying in public are good, right? Yeah. I do think it's a distraction. I really do. I really do. I mean, my take on the NBA being back, like, okay, if you're going to tell me you're doing a special tournament and saying that's fine, but this isn't the regular season. Like, it's what month are we in now? If the games start in August, this is not the 20 season. Like, that season is over. So I'm not gonna pretend like it's not that it's a fake champ. Whoever gets it, that's performative and ridiculous to me. But I do think it is. And just think about the privilege that again we have as a country, right? So this is not as individuals, not even an organization, but as a country that we have that sports is it may not be the number one priority, but it's definitely in the top 3, right? We are so much clamoring for sports to be back, even when it means that we're going to fly how many players to Orlando, right? How many players to Orlando? How many people are going to have to serve these players? They're building barbershops. They have, bringing food and all that kind of stuff. What is the strain that is being put on the people, the community, the essential workers, right? The essential workers look like me and you. If y'all know what we look like, we black, right? If they're in Orlando, they're Mexican, they're Cuban, they're Latino, right? They're Asian, right? So these are the people who are now being exposed. Now we know who's not being exposed. The players, they good. They tested nonstop, right? They got all their stuff. I think we're actually going to see probably some of the most intense basketball because you don't have those instructions. You stuck there, all you get to do is ball. And we know we haven't played sports. We know what it's like when you cooped up in something, right? You're just waiting to hit. You're waiting to hit something else. You're just waiting to get somebody else. I think we're going to see some pretty intense basketball coming up. But again, part of me it's hard to, and I will watch some because I'm a sports fan and I want to see what happens. But it's hard for me to doing that, knowing that we ain't got universal testing, man. These guys got access to tests all the time. And if I got to get a test, right? So me, just a regular old person, regular American who pays my taxes, sometimes just like the rest of them do, right? There's a whole process that I got to go to. There's a whole waiting thing that I got to go to.
It's not just it's not just at the facility for you.
Yeah, right. Just when you got a cough, you get a test. Yeah, right. I mean, they quarantine you to do that. No, I've been coughing for the last year. I wouldn't know if I had COVID because I was a symptom. I got them all. Right? You know what I mean? And that's being real talk. But it's just to me, it highlights where our priorities are. Where our priorities are not on getting the country going. Our priorities are not on, you know what I mean, making sure people have access to the things that we need, or even still this thing. Our priorities are on money. And that's fine. If this is what we're gonna do, let's just say what it is. Let's be honest with it and say what it is. I'm proud of the players. You've seen a lot of younger players speaking up more. I'm glad to see that. Even LeBron, I'm disappointed in LeBron's kind of taking kind of how he's done it, and we can get into that later. But the young players ain't with it. They're talking about this social injustice. They're continuing to push the message, and I'm with that. As long as we're honest about the conversation, I'm good. I'll enjoy some of the basketball, but I ain't gonna sit here and pretend like this is the same season. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like it's not absolutely ridiculous that we're providing so many resources for sports. I love sports. I live, eat, breathe sports. I'm 36 years old doing MMA, right? So trust me, I'm about that sporting life. But this is not our number one concern right now. It shouldn't even be in our top 10 list. And to continue to promote it and hype it up like this is absolutely irresponsible as a nation.
No, yeah. I mean, I would agree. I definitely agree with that piece. And I'm probably the biggest sports addict I know nowadays, just because that's one of the things that I do enjoy most. But like you said, and just to piggyback off of what you said, you mentioned money, and I think that another layer to it is just the priority is on normalcy. And like returning back to the way things were, even though the world is never going to be the way it was, you know, and I think that's the part that's, you know, the part that's mind boggling to me is, you know, they're trying to send kids back to school and they're trying to get their sports back up and going. They're trying to get the economy boosted again. And it's just like, whoa, we need to just chill out for a second before millions of people die here. You know, like we're, you know, you're so the America is just so worried about, you know, getting back to their normal routines. And I think that there just needs to be a what's the come to Jesus moment in which people realize that like it's not going to be the same, and we need to accept that, and we need to learn how to live life post COVID or with COVID. I mean, because at this point in time, you know, there is no vaccine, so we're gonna have to live with it before we can live after it. So it's definitely the biggest thing going on right now, and should be priority number one, even though it's not. But for shits and giggles, if you were an NBA player, right? And let's not call. We won't say you're LeBron or Kyrie, who's set for life. Aww. You know, that makes this an easy conversation. Right, let's say, for instance, you're Ed Davis, who came out and spoke and was like, "Hey, you know, us role players, like we're not set for life. Like we can't just take the season off and just like we got to eat." If you're in Ed Davis's position, like, do you go to the bubble? Do you play?
You know what?
Knowing how you feel about, you know, the fact that you think it's a distraction, do you still go play?
That's a great question, Trent. And I think you put it in a good way, and understanding that these dudes are punching the clock just like we are. Yeah, their paychecks are a whole lot bigger than ours, but they're also responsible for a whole lot more people than we do. They also are at the top of at the very top of their industry, the top of their industry, and none of us are. Right, as much as smart as we, again, as much again, I'm not there yet. I will be, but as much as smart and talented we think we are not. We've not put the level of effort into our craft as they do. right? They, how much does LeBron spend on his body every year? How much does McGregor spend on his body every year, right? We're talking about getting back into sports and easing back into it. This is their life. We forget this is a job. This is a job for them. And so we need to understand this is work for them. So, I mean, I think it's, again, I'm never going to knock somebody for making that pragmatic choice to protect themselves. Now, I can be disappointed. I can have my own opinion of it.
Yeah.
But having to pay bills and taking care of family and doing all that kind of stuff, or even simply being, a person who has finally achieved their dream of playing in the NBA, that is a huge risk. That's a huge risk for you to either to say, yo, I want to take care of my family instead in a different way, or even, with the social justice stances, right? We've seen what happens to players who take stands on social justice. So all these cats doing it now, it's not that I don't like it and don't, I want to see it, but hey, man, y'all know where's Cap at, right? What happened to Ed Reed? You know what I mean? Let's hey, NBA, what happened to Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf? Right, y'all got him up at the league quick. Right, y'all. We forgot about that. I got the chance to talk to him when I was working with the Big Three last summer. And he's an amazing dude. And again, he knows his purpose in life is bigger than sports. He knew that. So I mean, it's an individual thing. I'm not going to knock any player for playing the game, even if it was a strike. You know what I mean? When people hold out, I understand what it takes to do that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. And so, hey, get your money. This is your job. I understand that first and foremost. So I'm never going to knock that. But again, I don't like the fake performative stuff. Let's be honest with the conversation. Say, hey, don't say, hey, if there's no basketball this year, I'm gonna be good. Okay, I'm gonna miss basketball, but if we didn't play pro sports, I'm not gonna die. Right, I'm gonna figure out something else to do. So LeBron James, don't tell me you're doing this for the fans. Don't tell me we're doing this because we need to get things back to normal. No, my life is not normal. My life will never be normal again, and I don't need sports. I really don't. I need other things now. So don't placate me, right? Don't patronize me. Now, if we say, hey, I'm out here trying to win a championship, hey, I'm with that, right? Yeah. I want you to win.
Just keep it how it is. Yeah.
Let's keep it 100, right? I don't need the fake stuff. So I mean, hey, man, if you playing, you playing. If you're not, hey, I respect you for making that decision. With a couple Lakers, Avery Bradley decided not to. Dwight Howard almost decided not to, right? He's even Dwight's donating all his money to social justice causes.
A couple of guys are doing it.
Yeah, a couple of guys are doing it. So I mean, I think you can make your stand in different ways, and that's going to be a personal decision for you. But it's you said it very well. We got to figure out what normal is. This is normal is going to be completely different than what we've experienced, and even just in the sports landscape. I mean, look what the MLB's doing coming back. And we won't spend any time on MLB because no one cares about MLB.
Hey, I like baseball.
No, I didn't say you didn't like baseball. We don't care about. If you saw Mookie Betts walking down the street right now, would you know who he was?
Mookie, yes. If you picked anybody else,
only because you look at him today, do your homework. That's the only reason, right? Like we just don't care about baseball like that. Like I'm gonna get me a Mookie jersey now because Mookie black. Hey, I'm with it.
No, let me clarify. I like baseball stats. I'm a stat nerd. I'm not necessarily. Yeah, it's not necessarily the players. I like the stats.
Yeah, but we don't. That's how they market it. I'm just saying, like, it's not that important. It really is. Yeah. So let's just have more honest conversations. What my hope would be, and I support anybody who's taking a stand for whatever reasons. Because even if it's not for the right reasons, you're still using your platform in a good way. Yeah, even if you don't really understand what you're doing, except your name is Malcolm Jenkins, I still got it for you, bro. I don't care. Hey, come see me, man. But everybody other than Malcolm Jenkins, man, take your stand, do it, and read some books. That's all I hope you do. Just read some books.
No, yeah, definitely. I mean, just my take on the entire situation is, I mean, I agree with you in the sense of, just like play it straight. If you're trying to win a championship, go out there, do your job, win a championship. But I'm also, I'm kind of on both sides on the distraction piece. Like, I do think that, having sports back and being back on the TVs, I think is while it can be a distraction, I do think that it is a potential opportunity as well. Like I've seen players such as Tobias Harris, only answer questions, pertaining to, or not pertaining to, only answering any question with a response that had to do with social injustice or some of the things that are going on in the world. And I think that gets in a lot of other people's ears. It allows other people to at least hear it, and then they can decide whether or not they want to go and look it up and get involved in things along those lines. So I do see it as an opportunity, but I 100% understand how it could be a distraction. But I think that is on the players to ensure that it's not a distraction and it can be actually them using their platform while doing their job. So that's my take on that. And would I play in the bubble? Hell yeah, I'd play in the bubble. Like
I play too.
Yes, I'd be playing in the bubble. Like
exactly. Yeah. Given everything, so I probably would go. No, seriously, I probably would go for the reason I said. Again, I'm gonna keep it 100 with you. Right? Let's not pretend like it ain't what it ain't. So I probably would play, but it don't matter because
that's what I told.
Not playing.
That's what I told my wife though. It was just like if my job called me tomorrow and was like, "You got to come into work," like my ass is going to work. Like if that means you guys just got to go to your mom's house, my mom's house, like then. But I mean, we got to eat. Like,
well, that's a whole different conversation. I ain't going to no regular ass job. I'm going to the bubble. They got good food. It's a hotel. Hey, hold on. I got a diversion on you there, brother. Because I ain't just going to any old job.
Okay, you got to play the bubble. But you got to eat though, right? Like, I mean, in the end, you got to survive, and that's what those people were doing. Like, again, they're surviving in a completely different level.
That's okay. Okay, let's move on. Yeah, because they're surviving.
No. What I mean by surviving is providing the things that they need to provide, not like they're eating jelly sandwiches. It's like, anyways, before we get on to our final topic, there's one other thing. MLS is back. LAFC is back. I think they won their last 2 games. El Tráfico was... So
they
tied today, right? They ended up tying.
Tie.
I missed the last game.
Tie. And so
I missed the end of today's game.
I think it's bad goal. Both the goals were bad.
They were up 2-1, and I thought it was up 2.
Yeah, it was in the 80th minute. It was a nice header, but it was just, they fell asleep. I know y'all don't care about soccer, but I do, so we're talking about it.
So I like the reason why I brought it up initially is I don't have anybody to go to the LFC games with anymore. Like I think you've relocated to San Diego, and now I'm going to be sitting by myself in the supporter section.
Hold on, that is not true at all. That is not true at all. I am LAFC. I'm 32 through and through. When football does come back to LA, your boy will be there.
All right, I'm just checking.
When we get back, we going to the buffet. We doing the premium seats, bro.
That was so dope,
right? Hey man, y'all know about MLS, man, LAFC, man. I ain't that far away. I am still LAFC through and through. I'm gonna be there. Trust me. We gonna be there. I watched tonight. I was on it tonight.
It really is the best sporting experience I've ever been to. Like a soccer game. Like the fact the crowd never sits down. Like there's never a dull moment. Like you blink and you're gonna miss the only goal of the game. And like you know how pissed you're gonna be if you bought tickets and you miss the only goal of the game. But it's
exciting.
Amazing. It is.
It's an exciting atmosphere. That you see the talent and the skill that these players have. The ball moves. Sport. It's beautiful. The ball moves and it's more physical than it. You realize. I mean, a lot of times you see on TV, and I was actually watching K tonight. I was so pissed off at him because he's a waste of space. I'm off the K bandwagon. Sorry, I was cursing him out the whole game.
That's hilarious.
But these guys are big and and they hit each other like this. They are constantly bumping into each other. Ain't no pads on it. I don't care. Imagine wrestling for 90 minutes. That's essentially what these guys are doing.
Yeah.
And so it's an impressive sport. It's a great environment, and LAFC is the best team. So we got a squad, and they beat up on Carson.
They did
6-2, man.
It was a beatdown. I thoroughly enjoyed that.
I don't care. Here's the great thing about it. This how you know like how much this sport means and how good of a sport it is. Because I only started watching it since they started, so 2 years ago, right?
Yeah.
But man, I don't care if it's a MLS is back tournament. I don't care if it's a playoff last year. I don't care if they was playing 5-on-5 indoor soccer. Every time we beat the Carson Galaxy, it's a good day. And if they pointed on it, I was like, oh,
they did.
More,
yeah, they poured it on.
When you play in FIFA, you play like on the top level. And things ain't working right. You just put it down a little bit. That's what they did. They just turned it down a little bit. They put 6 on them. So I was glad to see. I'm glad to see them back.
They definitely put the beat down on him. So on to our final topic, and this is something that we talked about, I think, on multiple podcasts now, but it is finally official. Iron Mike Tyson is fighting September 12th, I believe, out here in Los Angeles. And the biggest surprise is who he's fighting. He is fighting, y'all must have forgot himself, Roy Jones Jr. Tre, how is this even interesting as an exhibition fight?
Well, I think that's a bad question, Trenton, because the fact that we get to see Iron Mike Tyson fighting again makes it interesting. And I'm gonna give props to us, and thank you for bringing it up. We basically spoke this into existence. Like, if it wasn't for you and I in the Silver Sports podcast, Mike Tyson would probably still be fat and out of shape. But we said, nah. We said we want to see him do it.
We want to see.
And what's he been doing? He's been out there killing it. Boy, this man looks good. I like what he said today in his interview when they asked him, why are you coming back? Whatever years old, what you move, blah, blah. He's like, because I can do it.
Mm-hmm.
Like that to me, and he was just that was it. There was no dignity to explain nothing. He said, because I can. And that's how I feel. Tre, why are you doing it? Because I can.
Absolutely.
Because I told y'all a month ago when I came in, I would show y'all how to do this, and now y'all looking at me like, yo, he can really do this. Like I told you, I told you I can. And to have that kind of belief in yourself, again, it's easy to be Mike Tyson, the baddest man on earth, and knocking folks out. It's easy to be that thing, but it's hard to be Iron Mike Tyson when you're 54 years old. You've been, you've
gone through a lot.
You've been in jail, gone through a lot, got out of shape, all kinds of stuff. Folks laughed at him for years, made fun of him for years, right? And now he's saying, no, I'm still the biggest, baddest mother effer on this planet, and I'm gonna show y'all. And why is Roy Jones Jr. doing this?
Dude, like, and I don't mean to laugh, but did you hear him talk in the promo? It's like his words are so slurred. Like,
it's not good. This is known.
He should not be in the ring with anybody, let alone Mike Tyson. Like, I don't care how fluffy gloves you give him. Like, that's going to hurt.
I wouldn't want to hit Roy Jones Jr. Okay, not that I could hit Roy Jones Jr., but I'm saying I would feel bad if I hit him because he is not okay.
I felt bad listening to him talk. Like,
Mike made a great point. Mike great point, because in his interview they were saying, Ali fought, when he was later and he looked bad. He was like, well, I didn't. He's like, all respect to the greatest, but I didn't take as much damage as he did. Like, I left early, and that's the truth. He left early.
And also when he was fighting, he wasn't taking as much damage.
Yeah, exactly. He didn't want. Yeah, he wasn't taking the damage that he did. And so it's like, I may have let myself go physically, but I don't have that type of stuff. And he's as clear as he was. Well, he's probably more clear now as he talks and how he presents himself. So I believe him when he said, and again, looking at him, the dude looks amazing. Like, dude is fast, he's strong, he's powerful. I was literally watching videos of him. It's why I'm just saying, because I'm having a hard time with my left hook. So I'm watching how he does it. And he moves. We don't forget how big this man is. He is huge. He's like a gorilla. Like, he's like gorilla. He is so
fluid,
quick.
flush,
fast. It's beautiful. And Roy Jones Jr. is none of that. He looks like an old man.
Like, when he began to compare himself to like David and Goliath, and then he was like, he's got God on his side. I was like, oh, we're in trouble. I was like, oh, if he's already playing the God card, we're in trouble.
Bro, just so you know, you're Goliath in this story. Let's be real.
You're going down.
You are the Goliath, because I know the metaphor you're trying to make. However, in this situation, you gonna die, bro. Like, if that's the decision he makes as a grown man to you get in the ring, you get in the octagon, right? You're making the decision to go to hand-to-hand combat with another man. So I wish Roy Jones Jr. wouldn't do this, but he knows what he signed up for, and it is what it is.
Now, I really wish Mike Tyson was fighting somebody else who wasn't such a legend. Like, I don't want this to be the last way I see Roy Jones Jr. Like, I want to remember. What?
You want to see him die like this? Is what you want to say.
Like, I want to remember. Y'all must have forgot. I want to remember the music videos. Like, I want to remember the rapping, the three left hooks in a row. Like, that's the Roy Jones I want to remember. I don't want to remember exhibition against Mike Tyson, Roy Jones Jr. Like, I just can't imagine that it's going to even be competitive.
the only analogy that I can kind of like my feelings about this is like when the COVID stuff first hit and like, trying to talk to my mom about, being safe and doing stuff and the type of work that she does, she kind of can't, right? Yeah. So at a certain point, like, she's, I'm telling her, hey, stop doing this, but she's like, well, I got to do this for this. Like, well, okay, whatever. So then you just say a prayer and then, they'll hope you're okay.
Yeah.
That's what I'm at with Roy Jones Jr.
Just say a prayer. I hope you're okay.
Think of Roy Jones Jr. as I do my mama. Hey, man, good luck, nigga, because this ain't going to look good for you, bro. It's just...
shoot.
He's going to die in the ring, man.
I am scared for Roy Jones Jr. I really wish. I hope he pulls out for some random reason. It reminds me of who was a UFC fighter recently. I want to say it was BJ Penn, like in his last fight, and it was just like, dude, like you shouldn't be in the ring anymore, man. Like it's time to hang him up. Like you're just getting demolished. Or even
BJ
Jose
Penn lost
Aldo.
a street fight recently. Penn lost a street fight recently. I don't know if y'all saw that. It was pretty sad to watch. It was out of shape Hawaiian dude kicked his ass. It was pretty sad. Yeah, but, Aldo too, man.
I was about to say, Jose Aldo on UFC 251. He started off all right, and then but by the end, he was just, almost curled up like a baby, like like protecting himself, and it was just kind of like that's not the Aldo I want to remember.
Hey, if Peter Yan was hitting me, I would curl up like a baby too.
No, of course. Don't get me wrong. It's just that's not the Aldo I remember. Yeah. That's not WEC Aldo. Yeah. That's not vicious leg kick Aldo. That's not turn around knee you in the face Aldo. That's not how I want to see him at the end. Same with BJ Penn. Like, didn't want to see him go out like that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think it's sad to think about legends, especially when we think of combat sports, right? Because we've seen these guys take other guys that we've held in high esteem and made them curl up.
Made them look pitiful.
Right? We've seen all these men that we're talking about, even Roy Jones Jr., right? We've seen him, all these cats be the champ. And it's tough when they ain't the champ no more. They still the champ, but they ain't the champ. And that's the hard part to see. So I'm excited to see Mike Tyson get back in the ring. Like, this is an ultimate comeback story. Jamie Foxx is doing the biopic.
I can't wait. That is my favorite entertainer.
Prediction. So first of all, Jamie Foxx, and this is not a debate. This is not a question. This is
watch what you say here.
No, hold on. No, you good. Trust me, we good. Yeah. Jamie Foxx is the most talented person on earth. It's not 100%. Even close. Like, and it 100%. Might be dead or alive. Like, it might be. This is the most. Again, it's in conversation, right? So the fact that he gets to play Iron Mike Tyson.
He's gonna kill it.
But Mike Tyson is one of the most complex. We're going to save it because we're going to do a whole thing on this. But hold on, I want to put this in there because I want to make sure. Not only did we Sober Sports Podcast will the Mike Tyson fight into existence, but I'm gonna predict it right now. Jamie Foxx is gonna win an Oscar for his performance in this film. I'm gonna put it here. If I had the I'll put it. Hot take. I don't even think this is a hot take, to be honest with you.
I don't either, because he's been impersonating Mike Tyson for so long. Like, it's gonna be golden.
So long.
It's gonna be golden.
The Iron Mike Tyson story is so complex. There's so many levels, and most people only know the boxing. They only know what's been in the headlines. If you read anything about this man, if you know anything about this man, like, dude,
so much.
This is gonna be, if you watch one biopic, if you watch one, film, it's gonna be this. And Jamie Foxx is the only person that could do this.
Hands down.
Do this any justice. And
I think it will go down as like the greatest biopic ever. Like Ali was great, but this is, I think it's going to put it to shame. It's not even going to be close.
No, I was really just about to say that, because, and actually I need to go back and watch Ali and Will, my boy. Hey, Will. Hold on, Will Smith. Hey, it's a straight Watkins. I know you don't know me, but hey, I'm here with you, bro. Okay. And I just want to let you know, real niggas still win in 2020. Okay? Don't you worry. We here for you.
He looks so sad.
No, hey, we'll save this for a different pod, but hey, we good. Hey, Real niggas still winning in 2020. That's all I'm gonna say. And
Will Smith,
I'm with you.
We're gonna have to bring you on since you brought it up to discuss Will Smith and his journey. That's a little bit less than sports talk. So
Diamond ain't gonna let me on that one. I know,
we'll have to do a hybrid podcast.
But I will say, a crossover episode. I like that. But what I'm saying about Will Smith and doing Ali, that's a great. I mean, and guess who else is in that movie?
Jamie Foxx,
right? He can do boxing movies again. Not remember the Titans. What's the football movie?
Any Given Sunday.
Any Given Sunday, which is a terrible movie. Correct. However, we have some of the best performances that have been put on film.
Yeah.
Jamie Foxx is fantastic. His Quaid is fantastic. Patino's these guys are fantastic in this terrible film. It's awful. It is so bad. And that's what he did with that, right?
Lawrence Taylor, LL Cool J. You had a couple people that have some good roles. I gotta watch it.
No, we gotta. Hey, that's what we're doing. Hey, we're doing it. It's already in. Hey, that's what's going on the next part. We're gonna review it, man, because it's such a bad movie, but it's such great acting, and so you love it, right? And so we see the type of person he was, and he's an athlete as well. Yeah. And so I'm excited to see him in this movie. I'm glad we've been hearing about this for years, right?
Oh yeah.
And for it to coincide with the champ actually coming back,
and that's why I'm like, it needs to get done now. I need it done quickly, soon.
Man, take all my dollars. I'll get all the COVID to see this. Hey man, I will risk it all to see this movie.
Hilarious.
And I'm gonna put this out here right now. We need to be at this. We are media. And we need to be at this fight. So we gonna, Sober Sports, whatever Rihanna got the Navy, B got the Hive. We need the Sober Sports drunkards or something like that. But our fan club, help Trent and I, get to this fight. Because again, put it on record, we will this fight into existence.
Tweet
because
it out.
Of us and our podcast that this is happening. So, we need love there. And I'm gonna predict that Jamie Foxx won the Oscar for his portrayal of Iron Mike in this movie, and I want to see what happens with Roy Jones Jr. in this fight.
No, I don't want to see what happens with Roy Jones Jr. I want him to wear a mask so I don't have to see that it's him. I want it to be like a luchador boxing match.
Question. Question. Are you more concerned with Roy Jones Jr. or Paige Van Sant every time she fights?
Surprisingly, it's Roy Jones Jr. And the only reason why it's Roy Jones Jr. is because Paige Van Zant, the girls go in there and they just dominate. It's 4 minutes. They put her in an armbar and that's it. They don't beat her up or nothing. Roy Jones is gonna take this to the face. Paige Van Zant, I don't think she got punched the other night.
She didn't, and that's the thing with Paige. Just please just don't hit her in the face. And Roy's please don't kill him, man.
Yeah, right.
We're at a different level. It's a different level. A different level of concern here. So yeah, we will Paige, we love you. We're huge fans. We're gonna get you on the pod. We love you, Paige.
Go get you a new contract, girl.
Trust me. Hey, I don't care how many losses you take. You keep on getting at it, champ. All right? You keep on, you have a bright future in front of you, young lady.
That's the funny thing. And we weren't supposed to talk UFC today, but regardless, she had mentioned that she's making more money on Instagram and Dancing with the Stars. And it's just crazy that she is legit a superstar, even though, and mind you, it's been through a lot of injury, but her last, maybe 3 or 4 fights have not been very good. But she is still a legit superstar in terms of not what's what I'm looking for, inside and outside the ring. Let's say that in terms of impact. And it's crazy that she could still be on a losing streak and still be getting this kind of press.
Paige Van Zant was on the main card of one of the best cards ever put together.
Right. Where she was a minus or plus 700 under
all the 100.
It was ridiculous.
Again, we're gonna keep on saying we're not gonna talk about UFC, but we are gonna talk about UFC because it's great.
We just love it.
It just shows you how big of a draw she is. You're right, and what she's been able to do. Again, she's a supremely talented athlete.
Yeah.
Let's not take any. Just like Aldo I think is also on a 3 or 4 fight losing streak as well, and was also on that same main card.
And they didn't give the title fight to Sterling, which is ridiculous. But that's another conversation for another day.
Yeah, please. We're not going to talk about UFC, guys, because
there's so many things to talk about UFC. No, this has to be a separate pod. There's way too much to talk about.
I got to ask a question. Nope, you said his name. What did he do? What did he do to Dana?
I don't know.
What did he do to Dana?
I don't know, but it makes zero sense that Aldo got the title shot over is it Aljamain Sterling? It's baffling, really. Like there was only one fight to make, and they didn't make it.
Sterling will wash him. I don't care what nobody say. Sterling will wash him.
I gotta watch more tape, but I tend to agree initially, but I've got to watch more tape there.
I don't care what them. I don't care all them wrestling bears and whatnot. Sterling will wash him. I don't care. All right, no more UFC talk. All
right, but yeah, we'll be waiting for that Mike Tyson fight and the movie. If you're not as excited about this movie as we are, I need you to YouTube. I believe Jamie Foxx was on Sway in the Morning, I believe, and all he does is he describes the opening scene of this movie, and it makes you feel as though you're in the theater by yourself with like the biggest speakers glaring, and it just puts you in that moment. So if you haven't seen that YouTube clip, go check it out. You'll be just as excited about this masterpiece that's coming.
Real quick, can you just say theater one more time for me?
Theater?
Yeah, I like it.
Grow up.
I like it.
You're immature.
The theater.
Yeah, like you watch movies at a theater, but you watch plays at a theater.
I know there's a difference. I just want people to understand and appreciate the beauty that is the Black lexicon, because I know the difference. I know the difference.
I tried explaining that to people at work, and they were like, "No, like, yeah, you guys aren't Black. You guys don't get it."
You don't understand. There's two different ones. You're right. We're going to the theater. We're going to the theater. It's two different things, bro.
It is.
I just want to get
it is. I get fancy for the theater.
And no, hey, when I see this movie, I'm going to the theater.
I'm going to the theater.
I'm getting fancy too. I might have my my Black Panther apparel on for this for some reason.
You're an idiot.
I don't know, man.
That is hilarious. But that wraps up this episode of Sober Sports. If you haven't already followed us on social media, you can find us at Sober Sports Pod. You can like us on YouTube. You can go to anchor.fm/sober sports, and you can actually leave us a voice message. If you leave us a voice message, we will play it on air. Feel free to comment. Let us know how you feel. If you have any takes, any questions, go ahead and drop them in there, and we will add it into our segments, and we will give you all of our sober takes by not so sober people. Trey, it's always a pleasure. Until we meet again, have a good one.
Love you, cuz.
Deuces.